So in sim racing, which is fastest? Driving on a flat screen or driving in VR? Well, in this video, we're going to put both to the test and find out. So here's the plan. We are going to do a lap around Spa, one of my absolute favourite tracks in the Jaguar F-Type Group 3. We're going to do this on a flat screen, so racing in 2D as most people normally would, and then we're going to jump into VR, and we're going to see which is quickest and where the differences are. Let's get into it. Okay then, so let's get into this. Coming through the bus stop chicane to kick off this lap. Already a very quick snap of oversteer to deal with from this F-Type. Now, I absolutely love this car, but I did prefer it on GT Sport. Less of a fan of it in Gran Turismo 7. A bit of a snap once again as we lose the rear end coming out of the La Source hairpin up through the most iconic corners in all of motorsport. Are we going to be flat? Not quite. We do lift. And that might have been track limits just a bit there. I think we are all good though. Down the Kemmel Straight. Now this is a really difficult spot to pick your brake in. It's going to be the 100-meter board. We maybe going to brake just a smidge later. Really difficult sector of track that in the Group 3s especially, and in the Group 4s also. Start of that curb is going to be our braking zone down to Beau Rivage. This is Beau Rivage, I think, isn't it? Yeah, and then this left-hander is No Name Corner. Oh, little bit wide there, but we are all good. Up into 5th. We are going to downshift here after the 50 board for Puong. As early as you can on the power. So far, so good. Not the worst lap that I've ever done in my life. 50-meter board again for braking. Trying to get the car turned in. It just wants to oversteer. Or understeer, rather. Away from the apex. And then this is where it often wants to oversteer because you're so keen to try and get on the power. We're all good there. An earlier shift up to 4th. The understeer kicks in as you are desperately trying to keep your foot down on the power. And here we go. Final sector of Spa. This is a one that you can keep flat if you just get the line right. Oh, we've just lifted quite a bit there actually. Maybe it's not quite flat. It's going to be just after the 150 board for braking. Are we going to live to regret that? Not quite. We clipped the apex on the way in. Not the best entry into the chicane. But there we go. This is going to be a 2 minutes 14.801. Now, I'm sure there's lots of people going to say they could drive a hell of a lot quicker than that. Let me put the disclaimer in, we've not done much practice. But that is a lap of Spa on the flat screen. Still, when you're sat in the rig with the wheel, with the seat, with the pedals, and the big screen in front of you, as I've got here, it's still super, super immersive. You've still got really good feel, especially with a force feedback wheel. When you start to feel the car go light, you feel it all through the wheel. But we know that VR is another level. So with that, let's jump in to virtual reality. Okay then, so starting this lap in VR, here we go. Immediately out of the bus stop chicane, the first thing that I can tell you, the difference in VR is you're so much more scared, or I am anyways, to put your foot down. The other thing I can tell you is we come out the La Source hairpin. Oh, a big snap there. You notice so much more the elevation changes. You do not get a feel for that on the flat screen. With this, you absolutely do. Up through, or down through Eau Rouge and up through Radeon, actually. Back straight, Kemmel Straight. I can't remember the distance of this, but it feels like forever until you try your very best to just pick a braking point and commit. You're always going to carry too much speed through there. This right-hander is just tremendous. Lovely sector of track. Down through Beau Rivage, trying to get down the gears, trying to get those wheels to just be on that curb on the right-hand side all the way around. Really difficult to do and difficult to know when your car is actually clipping the curbs. That's the one thing that's obviously a little bit trickier in VR, but way more realistic. It's alright on the driver's side there, as we see, probably taking too much curb through Puong there. But on the right-hand side, or the off-side of the car, you've got to try and just listen for when you hear those tyres on the curbs. This feels like you're so much more on the limit, even though I am probably quite a bit slower. Or sometimes when you're clipping the curb there, as we see, you just got to wait for the car to rise up, and that's when you know you've actually managed to clip that one. Trying not to clip the grass, which we do a little bit. Up to 6th gear. Trying not to lift too much. Oh, we clipped a little bit more curb there, but that is actually all right. Moment of truth for the braking zone just after the 150. Down into first, straight up to second, because we know with this Jag it will absolutely spin us round. Not the best exit. Oh, also again not the best exit. And there we go, a 215.5. So what's that? 7/10 slower in VR. And I'm going to take this headset off because I feel sick. Oh, God. I absolutely love VR. But, God, it doesn't half make you feel sick very, very quickly. So there we go then. As a straight-up comparison, it probably is a little bit quicker to be on the flat screen. It's a similar thing with motion rigs. Even the likes of Max Verstappen has said it is quicker to drive on a flat screen and on a stable, no motion rig, because the movement just makes you kind of second guess those inputs, the throttle input, the brake, and that little bit more, and the reality maybe does make you feel like it's a bit of a gamble. On a flat screen in a rig that isn't moving, you can take every gamble that you want. You know there are no risks. And I guess that's the difference between esports, you know, sim racing versus the real world as well. The risk, the danger is not actually there. In terms of VR though, the immersion is absolutely second to none. For a minute there, I felt like I was in Belgium, I was in Spa, I was in that Jag F-Type. And then you take the headset off and you remember, actually, I'm just in my office recording a YouTube video. It is so unbelievable. The details of the track, particularly in Gran Turismo, that you manage to really feel and hear in VR that you don't on a flat screen. The difference is unbelievable. In terms of pure enjoyment, I would love to always race in VR. The reality is I'm probably always going to be quicker on the flat screen. So if you're bothered about lap time, quali times, race times and results, you're probably going to be better off sticking with the flat screen. But in terms of pure enjoyment and being as close to the real thing as you possibly can, VR and PSVR 2 is absolutely the way to go. So with that, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would love to do some more comparisons around different tracks as well. So if you have any requests, let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on VR. Do you race flat screen? Do you race VR? Drop them in the comments, and I very much look forward to hearing from everybody. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.